Good morning everyone. I am Professor Neha Vyas and I am a co-founder at VSPT. I take up theory subjects at Commerce all levels and at CA Foundation and CA Intermediate level. Today we are going to begin with one of the subjects called as indirect taxation, which I feel is by far the most interesting subject because this subject is such in which what you study theoretically is exactly applicable out there in the practical world. So relatability of what we study to what we apply in the actual world is to the max. Before any student starts preparing for indirect tax current law which is applicable, I feel every student must know this one thing which we are going to discuss in today's video before he or she begins to prepare with the indirect tax subject. We all know that the indirect tax regime has a 360-degree change with the introduction of a new tax law called as GST, Goods and Service Tax. But what we need to know is that why did the government take all these efforts for so many years to bring about this big change? See students, to bring about a new change, to completely abolish the old law which has been on for so many years and to introduce something new is no small game. There has to be some major reasons as to why this change has happened, and I believe that we should know the history and the base and why a new law was proposed in order to understand the subject better, the provisions better, and the logical reasonings behind these provisions. So today we are going to discuss as to why did the new law come in the first place. So to begin with, I'm going to give you all a very brief idea about the old tax regime which was there under indirect taxation in India for so many years. It's going to be very short, very simple. I'm not going to go into the technicalities, but you exactly will understand the problems and the need and reason for bringing about GST. So let us begin. We are going to start with first knowing about the old tax regime in India. So the old tax regime. The old tax regime in India had four major taxes. We'll study them in a very short manner. First one being excise duty, known as ED. Excise duty was a form of tax which was charged on manufacture or production of गुड्स. मतलब कि फैक्ट्री में जो भी गुड्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है उसके गुड्स प्रोड्यूस हो गए, उसके बाद दैट पर्सन, दैट मैन्युफैक्चरर हैड टू पे अ टैक्स टू द गवर्नमेंट कॉल्ड एज एक्साइज ड्यूटी. सिंपल. The second major tax which was there under the indirect tax regime was VAT or CST. VAT, value added tax. CST was central sales tax. This was a tax which was applicable on sale of goods. मतलब कि whenever you go to a shop, you buy say a pen. So that shopkeeper also charges something called as VAT on it, and he has to pay the same to the government. So that was the second major tax which was there. The third one was called as service tax. Now service tax was something which was charged exclusively on provision of services to service providers. मतलब any person provides any service, that person is liable to pay service tax at a certain percentage to the government. And the fourth one was customs. Customs is what every importer or exporter had to pay for import or export of goods and services. So this is in general how the old tax regime in India for so many years looked like. Now let us come to the new tax regime which got introduced in the year 2017, which we all popularly know as GST, Goods and Service Tax. Now, Goods and Service Tax is a tax which is charged on taxable supply of goods and services. When we will study the subject GST in detail, we'll exactly understand what is the meaning of taxable supply and all other related provisions. But what you need to know for now is that GST is something which is charged on both goods and services. Matlab all these three tax has been subsumed, you can say consolidated into one tax today, which is known as GST. Customs jo tha, that is something which is there still today, that's not been abolished or that's not been subsumed or consolidated. It still exists and it's there even today, that customs duty is to be paid on import and export of goods and services. Now, we studied in general what the old tax law was and what the new tax law was. Now comes the most important question, why? Why was there a need to take all these efforts both politically and procedurally to develop a new law? So that we are going to understand. For that, we need to understand the problems which were there in the old tax regime. The first major problem that existed in the old tax regime was cascading of taxes. Don't get confused with a fancy word, it's just a fancy word. Meaning is very simple. Cascading of taxes means tax on tax. मतलब एक item जिस पे already there is one type of tax, उसके ऊपर दोबारा tax charge हो रहा है, which is wrong. I show you. We'll understand this with the help of an example. Now, for example, let us take Mr. A as a manufacturer. Now Mr. A say produces a pen say for ₹100. इसमें उसका profit cost सब कुछ आ गया. Now Mr. A wants to sell this to retailer B. Okay, so he's going to charge ₹100 as his selling price. Then like we learned in the old tax regime, अगर वो कोई producer या manufacturer है, he has to pay an excise duty. So say ₹10 is his excise duty. So the total price which Mr. B has to pay to Mr. A is ₹110. जिसमें से Mr. A will keep ₹100 and ₹10 Mr. A is going to pay to the government as excise duty. Now let us take this example further. Now say the retailer B wants to sell to customer C. So Mr. B के लिए cost is ₹110. Do you agree? 110 is something what he paid to the manufacturer, right? So उसके लिए cost हो गया 110. Now of course he is not going to sell it at cost. He is going to add something. He is going to add his profit. So say he adds a profit of ₹40. So the total selling price for the customer comes to ₹150. But we are forgetting one thing. At the time of sale, there was a tax applicable called as VAT. So let us add VAT and say it comes to ₹15. So the total selling price that the customer finally had to pay was ₹165. Right? So this is what Mr. B is going to do. Collect ₹165. उसमें से 15 rupees he is going to pay to the government and 150 rupees is going to go into his pocket. But don't you think this entire system has one major flaw? The major flaw being that VAT जो figure पे add हुआ है, don't you think that figure already has tax on it? उसमें एक्साइज ड्यूटी इंक्लूडेड है ना 110 में. सो एक्साइज ड्यूटी पे भी टैक्स लगा वैट, विच इज द मेजर फ्लॉ. This event of tax on tax is called cascading of taxes. So this was one of the major problems which was there in the old tax regime. Now problem 2 is very connected to problem 1. The problem 1 existed because under old tax regime there was no smooth flow of credit. Now credit is a very simple concept under tax which you guys should know. क्रेडिट मतलब कि गवर्नमेंट ने ऐसी फैसिलिटी दी है कि इफ यू हैव पेड एनी टैक्स एट एनी प्रायर स्टेजेस ऑफ योर इंटायर सेल ट्रांजैक्शन यू विल गेट द क्रेडिट ऑफ द सेम अमाउंट. मतलब कि आपको जो फाइनल टैक्स पे करना होगा यू कैन डिडक्ट द टैक्स विच यू ऑलरेडी पेड इन द अर्लियर स्टेजेस. When we understand GST, you will understand exactly the meaning of the word credit. So you will understand it then. But what you need to know is that under old tax regime, there was no smooth flow of credit. Example, कि excise duty का credit मुझे नहीं मिलता था to use against payment of VAT. Say I am retailer B. I have paid excise duty of ₹10 while buying this pen. तो ये मैंने एक्साइज ड्यूटी पे कर दिया. नाउ व्हेन आई एम सेलिंग दिस पेन टू द कस्टमर आई एम सपोज टू पे वैट ऑफ ₹15. तो मैंने ₹10 पे किया है एंड मुझे 15 पे करना है टू द गवर्नमेंट. बट मैं एक्साइज ड्यूटी का क्रेडिट आई कुड नॉट यूज अंडर वैट. ऐसा प्रोविजन ही नहीं था लॉ में. सो दिस इज द रीजन कि आई वॉज नॉट एबल टू यूटिलाइज माई क्रेडिट इन अ प्रॉपर मैनर. Similarly, service tax का credit could not be used against excise duty or VAT. मतलब inter-applicability of credit was not possible under old tax law. So this was the major reason why ये credit use का मतलब नहीं होता था in old tax regime. The third problem of the old tax regime was that there were certain transactions which were treated as both goods एंड सर्विसेज. मतलब कि उस पे सर्विस टैक्स भी आता था एंड एक्साइज ड्यूटी वैट भी आता था. आई गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू गो टू अ रेस्टोरेंट, you order something. You're going to order, say, a bottle of Bisleri and you're going to order your food. So now Bisleri is goods, उसके ऊपर वैट आएगा. However, when you go to a restaurant, you also take services of the waiter, of the air condition, of the atmosphere, whatever. You take so many services when you go to that restaurant. So it has an element of service also, it has an element of goods also. But under old tax law, there was no clear provision for it. So there were so many litigation cases that started filing up, and finally just the government came up with that there are few transactions which jahan VAT bhi aayega and jahan service tax bhi aayega, which was incorrect. You can't treat one transaction as goods and as services, right? So this was also one of the major problems that existed under old tax law. Now let us see that how GST or introduction of GST helps us to fight these problems, these deficiencies. So now first and second problem क्या था? Seamless flow of credit नहीं है and cascading of taxes होता है because of that. But under GST, let us take the same example and let us see how GST का system works. Now let's continue the example. अभी Mr. A है. Okay, again उसका ₹100 है selling price. वो रिटेलर बी को सेल करने वाला है. 100 पे से ₹10 उसने GST चार्ज कर दिया. तो ₹110 is the final payment which Mr. B makes to Mr. A. Now say Mr. B wants to sell it to customer C. So again अभी here उसकी cost price will be ₹100. I tell you why. उसके ऊपर से he will add his profit, say ₹50. So 150 is going to be his selling price. उसके ऊपर again he will add GST, of course. So ₹15 say is going to be his GST. So 165 is the final selling price that the customer has to pay to Mr. B. नाउ टैक्स पेमेंट कैसे होगा? अभी मिस्टर बी, डू यू अग्री, हैज टू पे ₹15 टू द गवर्नमेंट. उसने कस्टमर से 15 रुपए कलेक्ट कर लिया एंड इट हैज टू पे द सेम टू द गवर्नमेंट. नाउ because of seamless flow of credit under GST, he is able to take the credit of the GST that is already paid while taking the inward service from manufacturer A. Matlab he will deduct ₹10 and will pay only ₹5 net to the government as tax. This is possible because under GST, from the start, very first transaction till the end, credit is available at each stage. So that is why the problem of tax on tax nahi, because yahan under GST, tax at every stage is added only on the value addition. For example, here अपना value added by Mr. B to the cost was ₹50. So if you see, the final payment of tax is nothing but the value added का percentage. So do you understand? That is why GST is also called as value added tax, because GST is added at every stage only on the value added. So this is how the first two problems are solved under GST, because the government has drafted the law in a way that the seamless flow of credit is possible from the start to the end. Now as regards to the third problem is solved by the government in a beautiful way under the GST law. उन लोग ने एक शेड्यूल बना दिया है in GST law, जहाँ all the transactions, जहाँ confusion था in the earlier tax law saying so and so transaction is treated as service, so and so transaction will be treated as goods. मतलब कोई confusion ही नहीं, एकदम clearly बोल दिया है कि for example restaurant service है, so under GST it's going to be treated as supply of services. So there's clarity as to what's there under GST law for these transactions. Now we are done with the major problems which were there and what gave a need to bring a change to the law system. And that is it for today's video. If you want to contact us, you guys can contact us on social media handles, and also the contact details will be shared at the end of the video. Thank you guys. This is me signing off. Hoping to see you guys soon.